Horton Hatches the Egg. Now I know that you like this book. It's a very good book, and I'm going to read it to you now. Have fun. Horton Hatches the Egg by Dr. Seuss. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored, and I've got kinks in my leg. From just sitting here day after day, it's work. How I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest, if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest? The elephant laughed. Why, of all the silly things, I haven't feathers, and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Tut, tut, answered Macy. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it, no trouble at all. Just sit on it softly, you're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow, I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back, why I'll never be missed, said the elephant, since you insist. I want a vacation, you want a vacation, go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg, and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful, I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Macy, and fluttered away. Bye-bye, Macy. The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done before I get on it. I must weigh a ton. Now that man, that guy right there weighs a lot. That's a big elephant. What do you think, guys? Huh? That's a big guy. Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. Now, I want you to look at that egg. That egg is awful small, and that big elephant is going to get up on that egg. Can you believe that? I don't believe that elephant right here is going to get on that egg. That is a big guy. He might squish it. Then Horton, the elephant, smiled. Now that's that. And he sat and he sat, and he sat and he sat. Now look at this guy, sitting on that nest right here. You see that nest? I can't believe that elephant's sitting like that. He's going to squish the egg, is he? You think he's going to squish it, you guys? Maybe not. Yeah, did he? He's still sitting on that doggone nest, and he didn't squish it yet. Let's see what the book says now. And he sat all that day, and he kept the egg warm. He sat all that night through a terrible storm. Now that's a terrible storm. You see all that rain over here? Sheesh, I'm surprised I'm not getting wet. It poured and it lightened. It thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish he'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Macy bird doesn't forget. What do you think, guys? I bet you that Macy bird forgot. What do you think? I'll bet you she forgot. I told you that bird was forgetting, huh? Look at that bird sitting right there on that tree, resting like that. Yeah. But Macy, by summer, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach, and having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. See, it's a rotten, creepy bird. Never trust a bird, guys. Poor Horton, sitting there in the tree, freezing his little butt off. See him on the tree? He's gonna be frozen like ice. Poor Horton. See what the book says. So Horton kept sitting there day after day. And soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away. And then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, "I'll stay on this egg and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. All right, Horton." Poor Horton sat there the whole winter through. And then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, "The elephant's up in a tree!" They taunted and teased him. They yelled, "How absurd! Old Horton the elephant, a bird!" Ha 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 ha! Then they laughed. Then they all ran away. And Horton was lonely. He wanted to play. But he sat on the egg and continued to say, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended." But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For a while Horton sat there so faithful, so kind. 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right straight at his heart. Oh, he did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high and threw out his chest. And he looked at the hunters as much as to say, "Shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Didn't shoot, much to Horton's surprise. They dropped their 3 guns, and they stared with wide eyes. "Look," they all shouted, "can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree? It's amazing! It's wonderful! New! Don't shoot him. We'll catch him. It's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. Why, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to a circus for money." He knew they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. "Roar off," the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy 100%. Oh, up into the sky, up over the mountains 10,000 feet high, then down, down the mountains, and down to the sea, went the cart with the elephant egg nest in tree. Bye-bye. Poor Norton, I'm so sorry for you. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship, but over the ocean, and oh, what a trip! Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray. And Horton said, day after day after day, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, but oh, I am seasick 100%. Oh, I'm so sorry for you, Horton. I'm so sorry. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch. Tied to a board that could just barely hold him, bump Horton landed, and then the men sold him. Oh, well. For money, that's a terrible thing. But elephants are faithful 100%. To a circus. Then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington too. To Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drag, North Dakota. And everywhere thousands of folks flock to see and laugh at the elephant up in the tree. Poor Horton grew sadder and the farther he went. But he sat as he sat in the hot, noisy tent. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach. And dawdling along way up in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Macy, still on vacation and just still as lazy. And spying the flags in the tents just below, she sang out, "What fun! Why, I'll go to the show." Whoop from the clouds through an open tent door. "Good gracious," gasped Maisie, "I've seen you before." Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, the noisiest, ear-splitting squeak from the egg that he had sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a wild alive scratching. "My egg!" shouted Norton. "My egg! Why, it's hatching!" and screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done, now she wanted it back. "It's my egg," she sputtered. "You stole it from me. Get off my nest and get out of my tree." Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. Every instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell, from the egg that he sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears, it had a tail, and a trunk just like his. Shouting, "What's all this about?" They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. And they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like this before.
"What is it?"
"My goodness, my gracious," they shouted. "My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be like that. Because Horton was unfaithful. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant." Bird is a little upset. Why is the bird upset, guys? Huh? I know why. Horton, he said what he meant. And they sent him home happy, 100%. you guys like the story, and maybe we'll read another one again. Do you remember what happened to Horton? Let's make sure that when you say something, that you mean it 100%, and always good things will happen for you too. Let's not be the lazy bird. Okay, see you later.